Welcome if you're new and welcome back if you're not. In this edition of Project Womble, we are going to be looking at Barbican.
Woo!
This is Project Womble, and on this channel I am on a mission to explore every station on the London Underground. I get out of the station, I go for a little stroll, I look at what's worth looking at, and then I report back to you guys. My little walks normally take about half an hour. I'm interested in history, women's history in particular, art, architecture, street art, blue plaques. I love finding blue plaques and all that good stuff. So that's what I focus my walks on, and I map out my walks on an app called Go Jauntly, which I'll tell you about a bit later. But for now, let's have a little look at Barbican. The station is nestled on Aldersgate Street. The last time we did Aldersgate Street was when we went to the Postman's Park, when we did St Paul's. Do you remember that? The station is on 3 lines, the Hammersmith and City, the Circle and the Metropolitan. It's in Zone 1, it's very central. There's 4 platforms, but only 2 of them are in use. Interestingly, it's actually signposted from the Elizabeth line as well, because it's right next door to Farringdon Station. It opened, this station opened in 1865, and previous names were Aldersgate and Aldersgate Street, because that's where it's situated. It falls under the local authority of the City of London, and it serves the area of Barbican, obviously. Now, the word Barbican derives from a Roman word meaning fortress, but we'll talk about that a bit later on. This is the footage of the inside of the station. Nothing special, it's very run-of-the-mill in there, and then you go up the steps and you get out straight onto Aldersgate Street. Directly in front of us is the Barbican estate. There's one of the high rises, 3 high rises. We're going to go over there and have a look at the Barbican in a bit. But before we do, we're just going to head down a side street because I want to show you Charterhouse Square and the Charterhouse. So let's speed up the footage and get down there. Okay, here we are in Charterhouse Square, which actually is a pentagon. There's a nice pagoda here. It looks old, it's not. It's been there since 2016 because this whole area was regenerated in 2016 because Crossrail needed to dig a shaft, because under here you've got the Lizzie line and the platforms, etc. When they were doing that piece of tunnelling, they uncovered a huge plague pit. There's a massive plague pit underneath this square, because this is where, during the time of the Black Death, they buried the dead, because it's sat outside of the city walls. There's some cool benches in here with snakes on. I did try and find out why, but couldn't find out. So if anyone knows why there are snakes in the ironwork on the benches, and let me know in the comments. There's often film crews around here. There was a film crew there one Sunday when I went up to do a recce, not when I filmed but on another occasion, because this area is often used for filming period dramas, etc., because it just makes such a brilliant backdrop because of all the gorgeous old buildings and cobbled streets. This building we're looking at the moment is part of a series of buildings that makes up the Charterhouse. Some of them are grade 2 listed, some of them are grade 1 listed, but this whole site goes way back to the 1300s when it used to be a monastery. And then after King Henry VIII got rid of all the monasteries, remember that, when he closed down all the monasteries and the abbeys in the 1530s, this was all repurposed as like a grand Tudor mansion. It was bought by Sir Edward North, and then later leased to Thomas Howard, who lived there in very lavish style. Thomas Howard's an interesting character. He's the guy at the centre of the Ridolfi plot to assassinate Queen Elizabeth I and put Mary Queen of Scots on the throne, and he was executed. But before then he lived here. And then in 1611, Thomas Sutton, a wealthy merchant, he founded a school here for elderly men, and that carried on for centuries. So lots of amazing history in Charterhouse Square. Lots of gorgeous buildings as well. Imagine living here. Look at these beautiful buildings. Unbelievable. Anyway, the reason we're going down here is because I want to show you another listed building, a Grade 2 listed building. A fairly new addition. It dates back to 1936, which was the same year Battersea Power Station was built and the same year that King Edward abdicated to marry Wallis Simpson. Anyway, in 1936, Guy Morgan built this beautiful Art Deco building, but you might recognise it because it's better known as Whitehaven Mansions, because it was used in the TV adaptation of Agatha Christie's Poirot. You know what I'm trying to say.
Agatha Christie's Poirot.
Yes, that. Thanks, iPhone person that helps me pronounce words I can't pronounce. It's a lovely building, isn't it? I love all the curves. I love Art Deco. Art Deco is my absolute favourite. You know, the kind of like Selfridges, Empire State Building, all of that. I'm a fan. You know that from when we saw the 55 Broadway at St James's. Anyway, that's enough of that. We're going to head out of here and stretch our legs for a bit. We're just going to retrace our steps back onto Aldersgate Street, and then we're going to cross that main drag and go down Fan Street, which is an old medieval street. A lot of the streets around here are old medieval streets. Well, a lot of the ones that survive, because actually this whole area was heavily bombed during the Blitz. Flattened. So for the first time in a long time, this was an empty space right in the middle of London, which gave architects a blank canvas to create quite a large central London estate with no listed buildings to navigate or worry about because they'd all already been flattened. So it was a very unique situation and unique opportunity, courtesy of the Luftwaffe. And so the Barbican was born in 1982, which was the same year Prince William was born. And, for context, the same year Alice Walker's novel The Colour Purple was published. I love that book. I make a point of never walking past The Colour Purple without noticing it and giving it a little nod. It has been hailed as London's ugliest building, but architects love it. The architects behind the project were Peter Chamberlain, Geoffrey Powell and Christoph Baum. It's a big concrete jungle, but there's something quite beautiful about it, something appealing. It falls under the category of brutalist architecture, and it's, you know, often held up as the example. And because they had so much space to work with, they kind of set it up like a little mini village with almost like a fortress style, kind of like with a nod to the fact that, you know, this area of London would have been a fortress, hence the name Barbican, which means fortified tower. So it's built elevated with elevated walkways, cars go underneath, it sort of separates pedestrians and vehicles, which actually I like. I do like that bit of it. It is a good place to walk around. I mean, you're never going to go anywhere in London that's not polluted because it's the middle of London, isn't it? But, you know, you're not walking around right next to noisy traffic with heavy car fumes. It is a car-free space. Oh, see that building in front of us? That's called Defoe House. That is named after Daniel Defoe because he was baptised in the church across the road there, which I'll take you to in a second. He also wrote about the plague pit over in Charterhouse Square, so that's why that building is called Defoe House. What we're looking at here is the Lakeside Terrace, which is beautiful. I bet it looks gorgeous in the summer. I filmed this in November, you know, not the best time of year in terms of filming because the weather's grey and the concrete's grey. It is what it is. I've got to film something in November, and I deliberately chose the Barbican because it's off the beaten track of all the crazy busy shopping streets, which I just can't abide at Christmas time. So this is why we're doing Barbican. It probably looks so much nicer in the summer, but I still think it looks pretty cool. I like the shapes, semicircles and circles everywhere, Like when you go, if you go, look around and you'll notice a pattern where there's semicircles, circles, straight lines everywhere you look, as far as the eye can see. And my pattern seeking brain loves it, and the photographer in me loves it. You can't not line up a good shot. In fact, while I was there was a couple of people having photo shoots, like looked to me like professional photo shoots done, like headshots, portfolio shots. Because of the lines and the way you can frame pictures, it does look cool. In fact, you know, it's been used to do fashion shoots, music videos. Clockwork Orange was filmed here because it's got that kind of stark, modern, slightly dystopian, otherworldly vibe. It's definitely got a vibe. I like it. Famous residents, the London Symphony Orchestra, and actor Ian McKellen lived here at one point. If you want to live here yourself, I've had a little look, and you could buy one of these. Today, a one-bed flat will set you back a cool million. Well, just shy of $1 million, and a two-bed, about 1.5. Not too bad. Good central location, great views. You can see St Paul's from here. Why not? Why not get one? Although, I don't know. I think I do still prefer the Battersea Power Station flats. I still think they're the one. My lottery win purchase. Penthouse flat, Battersea Power Station. That's the one. We're heading up onto one of the Highwalks now. Look at this. Look at these lines, the lights, the concrete. It's got such a vibe. It's so photogenic. I do really like it. Look at this. The lines, the lights. I mean, you can't not line up a good photograph here. And again, look, circles and lines, circles and lines. My pattern-seeking brain just absolutely loves it. I'm freezing the video here so you can see what I mean. Just look at it. Look at the shapes. I mean, my brain finds it very easy to find beauty in ordinary things. But I think this is extraordinary. It's deliberately designed to be beautiful. And it's definitely not lost on me. Coming up, there's a lovely piece of art that's hanging, tucked away here. Some beautiful gold sculptures. I did try and look up the artist and the piece, but I couldn't for the life of me find it. You know, I do like to always credit the artists and I like to do my research, but I just couldn't find out who it was. So if you know, please let us know in the comments. We are heading across Gilbert Bridge now because I want to show you some nice views. You've got a lovely view to the left there of the Lakeside Terrace. Look, absolutely beautiful, isn't it? Imagine what this will look like in the summer. Do you know what I love is all the balconies have got like hanging baskets, flowers, and there's the view to the right. How cool is that? Now, do you remember when I said that this whole area was completely flattened by the bombings in the Blitz? Where it was, apart from one building. This church here, St Giles, Cripplegate. This resilient little beauty is Grade 1 listed. You know I love a Grade 1. It's one of the few medieval churches to survive Great Fire of London and the Blitz. And as I mentioned earlier, Daniel Defoe was baptised here, and the poet John Milton, as in Paradise Lost, is buried inside of it. Right next door to it is a piece of the London Wall. I'll cover the London Wall in more detail another time, but basically the Museum of London set up a London Wall walk in 1984. There's 21 plaques at different points of the wall all around London, and you can walk it, and this piece that we're looking at here is point number 14. If you want to do the walk, it's available in the Go Jauntly app, so check it out. I'm going to do it. I might even record it. Yeah, I think I will. I think I'll record it in the summer, so watch this space. Okay, we are about halfway now, so it's a good time to look at the map. I always like to look at the map halfway because then we can see where we've been and where we're going. We started at Barbican, didn't we? Headed into Charterhouse, crossed the road into Fan Street, and then had a little wander through the Barbican Centre itself, and ended up near St Giles. That's where we are now. Next up, we're just going to make our way out of the Barbican Centre, and then we're going to go up Whitecross Street, go on a little street art tour, cut through Fortune Park, and then back on ourselves and back to Barbican Station. Looks like a lot, but it won't take more than 15 minutes from here. Things nearby of note are Smithfield Market, St Bartholomew's Church, which is the church with the Damien Hirst inside, Bunhill Fields Burial Ground, Liverpool Street, which we've been to. It really is not that far from St Paul's. Literally a 10-minute walk south will get you to St Paul's. This map we're looking at now is a London A to Z map, but I have got the maps available in the Go Jauntly app as well. I love that app, I highly recommend it. I also love these A to Z maps because I love the gorgeous colours. I love a good map, not gonna lie. Okay, staying on the Highwalks, we are gonna take a little walk round the Barbican Centre towards Whitecross Street because we're going to go on a street art trail. This walk's actually quite a good one to do when the weather's not good because a lot of it is enclosed and undercover. Quite a nice little rainy day walk, although don't wear slippy shoes because the floor has got that horrible slippy paving slab. Yeah, if you're a walker like me, you tend to pay attention to like different types of pavement and stuff, and those like weird shiny cobblestones, they look good, don't they? But they're not good. They get slippery when wet and it's a bad time, especially if you're wearing Crocs. Crocs would not be a good idea on a rainy day over here because it would be slippery as hell. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm in a chatty mood today, what can I say? We are walking along one of the Highwalks. I wanted to tell you about the different names of the Highwalk. There's a definite theme. They're all named after men. So when we came in, I don't know whether you clocked it, but the Highwalk we came in on was Ben Jonson after the playwright. There's also Shakespeare's Tower, because William Shakespeare used to knock about round here. This glass building we're just passing here is the Barbican Conservatory that's open to the public, but you have to book in advance. I did have a look, but it wasn't there was no tickets available on the day that I went to film, so we don't have any footage of it, but it looks cool. I'll insert some pics. Looks cool, doesn't it? Apparently you can even have your wedding there, like they host weddings. What a cool place to get married. I like that. I got married in a cool place. I eloped. I got married in Scotland. I'm English, my husband's Welsh, so we got married in Scotland, outdoors, in the Highlands. I'll insert a pic. I've covered up my face, and my husband's, because I don't want to be recognised. I love walking around London, undisturbed. I love sitting on the tube, undisturbed. So I have no desire to become Insta famous, YouTube famous, or any other kind of famous. I just want to keep myself to myself. I do like sharing my little walks. I just don't want to be sharing my little face. Anyway, look what we've got up ahead. Our first blue plaque. The former site of Glover's Hall and a sign, Cromwell Highwalk. So another walk named after a bloke. Or maybe not. It doesn't say Oliver Cromwell, it just says Cromwell, so we could say it was named after his wife, Elizabeth, because she used to worship in the St Giles, Cripplegate. Let's just pretend it's named after her. Too much male energy around here, do you not think? I mean, it was created by 3 men in the 80s, so what do you expect? A definite lack of tributes to females around here, so that's annoying. We'll find some later. You know me, always on the hunt for some women's history. We're on Whitecross Street now, which is where we're going to do our little art trail. So if you like street art, stay tuned because I've got some absolutely amazing pieces coming up, including 2 protected pieces by Banksy. Now, the reason why there's so much street art down here is because every summer they have a street art festival in partnership with Islington Council and various local businesses, and the pieces of art are commissioned and authorised. There's no listed buildings down this street, so it makes it an ideal canvas. Blue plaque there for Whitecross Street markets, because this used to be the site of one of the oldest street markets in London. There's still a street market here today. Next door to that, we've got another blue plaque for Whitecross Street Debtors Prison. Back in the day, they used to put people in jail if they were in debt. I mean, imagine. We get plaque points and we also get power points because the lovely Nell Gwen, in her will, requested that every year on Christmas Day, her son would donate £20 to Whitecross Street Debtors Prison to help pay off the prisoners' debts. Good old Nell, beautiful inside and out. Okay, street art. We've got a lovely piece at the top there called Bittersweet Symphony. That's by Sept. And then underneath it, there's a black and white piece. It's called Black and White Attitude by Seppa. And then across the way there on the corner of Roscoe Street, you've got an amazing piece by Elf. Isn't it absolutely gorgeous? You can just make out the letters of their name in the artwork. Oh, and look at this. These little bird boxes. How cool are these? So quirky. Quirky points for that. There's all kinds of quirky bits and pieces down here. I love it. I like it when people do artwork on these electrical boxes, these intercom boxes. Just brightens up the place, doesn't it, rather than having the bog standard green ones. Here's a better look at that piece by F, and then just poking through there you can see this beautiful piece by Curtis Harleton. Look at it, isn't it gorgeous? It reminds me a bit of that amazing piece by Dreff over in Shoreditch near on Fashion Street. Stunning. Next up on the corner of Garrett Street, we've got this huge piece. Look at the size of it. So this was done as a collaboration between 4 artists, part of the 2024 Whitecross Street party. I'll put the names of the artists and their IG handles on the screen and in the description box. If you want to see these pieces, they'll be here for a year. So basically the art gets authorised and commissioned as part of the street party, which usually happens in the summer around July time, and then the pieces stay up for a year until the next street party when different pieces are commissioned. This is our final piece here on the corner of Whitecross Street and Old Street. This is by poster artist E-Pod. Absolutely awesome. And look at that, tucked away there, we've got a blue plaque. Not just any plaque. This plaque is for Priss Fotheringham, the second best whore in London, apparently. She was a notorious madam and brothel keeper from around the now Gwen Charles II era. She set herself up on the corner here as a madam of the Six Windmills Tavern. And apparently she had an amazing skill where she would stand on her head naked and customers would throw coins into what was known back then as her commodity. Nowadays we would call that a vagina, but what an amazing party trick. So she sounds like a legend. She's definitely getting power points. We're going to loop around the block and get ourselves back onto Whitecross Street. We're nearly at the end of our tour now. I've just got a couple more things to show you, a blue plaque and 2 Banksies, and then we're back to the station. So I hope you've enjoyed our little tour. Sorry if I've been a bit chatty in this one. Just felt like I was having a bit of a chatty day when I was doing the voiceovers. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you kind of like this or you prefer a more factual voiceover. I really enjoyed doing Barbican. It's not an area that I knew particularly well. I think I came here a couple of times on like a school trip to the theatre, but apart from that I haven't really been over here. It's been nice to do the research, which is exactly why I set up the project in the first place. I love London, I love exploring, and I like to keep my brain active, and so that's why I'm doing the project. I also like the creative side of it and doing the artwork and doing the editing of the videos and learning new skills, etc. So yeah, it's been cool. I love this project. I'm so glad I started it. Absolutely brilliant idea. Right, here we are on Fortune Street, named Fortune Street because this used to be the site of the Fortune Theatre. There's a blue plaque there for it. So the Fortune Theatre was set up around the 1600s. It was set up by a chap called Edward Allen, and it was closed by Fun Sponge Oliver Cromwell in 1642 because he didn't like people having any fun and he closed all the theatres. We are now heading into Fortune Park, which actually is a newish park because this was set up after the Blitz because all of this area was flattened, so they made it into a nice little community space. It's gorgeous in there. There's a lovely mural on the back wall that was created by some local school children. A lovely little space. We get art points, we get green points, and we're cutting through here on our way to find 2 famous Banksy pieces. Let's go. We're on our way to find the Banksy Basquiat pieces. So these are a tribute to the New York artist Jean-Michel Basquiat. This one here is of an image of what looks to be Jean-Michel being searched by the police. Banksy's commentary on racial profiling and institutional racism. Banksy often has a lot to say about the commodification of art. He was said to be influenced by the late Jean-Michel, putting an unauthorised artwork here that coincided with the 2017 Basquiat exhibition is obviously a statement, an ironic statement really, considering that it was originally unauthorised and now it's covered in perspex and protected by the Barbican itself. This piece here, the Basquiat Ferris wheel, pays tribute to him because it includes a crown motif which Jean-Michel often used in his artwork. It's a great location for these pieces because it's so grotty under here. It's like a really horrible, heavily polluted, grotty underpass. I just love the irony of, you know, the authorised pieces are put on display in these beautiful buildings, these beautiful exhibition halls, and then you've got Banksy that's done his on this grotty old underpass. And maybe he did it here because it was easy to create it undetected, but I don't think so. He's an intelligent man. I think it was done completely deliberately to be ironic. And that, my lovely friends, brings us to the end of our little tour. Up ahead of us there is Barbican Station, so we're going to head down there. Earlier on, I said there was nothing interesting about or particularly special about Barbican Station. I lied. There's two things. There's a plaque inside for Pebbles the cat. I didn't get footage of it, I'm sorry, but if you go, have a look at it. That's quite quirky and cute. And John Betjeman wrote a poem about it. A critique to the way that they didn't restore the station after the Blitz. So it used to have a beautiful ornate glass roof on it, but as you can see it's just been left to the open air. So he wrote a poem called Monody on the Death of Aldersgate Street Station. A monody is basically like a poem, like a lamenting poem, usually lamenting the death of a person. So basically it was his way of critiquing the lack of enthusiasm to restore the station to its former glory after the Blitz. I'll include the poem in the description box if there's room. And that's a wrap. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. I'll see you in a month for our next little adventure, which is going to be Westminster.